Welcome to Family Heritage Stories. With me today, the General Max Stitzer. Okay, now, Max, thank goodness I got the cheat sheet, but you got all kinds of other things on the uniform. What's what's all the cocktail here? What's going on?
Well, this is an Air Force service dress uniform, Class A uniform. They have a kind of a couple different designations that they're known by, but it's business attire.
Okay.
So just short of formal attire, which would be black tie or white tie.
Okay.
So you'd wear this in business and ceremonial settings and things like that. It's the one uniform that we wear, that we display most of our regalia, right?
Okay.
Our awards and decorations. And there's a distinction between awards and decorations. Some awards are merely that, they're just an award. Certainly for something significant, a milestone like graduation from basic training or officer training. So in my case, I have that ribbon, Air Force training ribbon, with an oak leaf cluster on it, which means I was trained not once, but twice. Basic military training as an 18-year-old, and then as a college graduate to officer training. So that's an example of an award. A decoration typically also is a medal, so that ribbon is represented by a full-size medal as well, and I have a number of those.
Now, there was one medal that you had showed us before upon your retirement, okay? What was that called, or is that called?
So that's the highest in precedence that I wear, and it's the Distinguished Service Medal, that you have to be a general officer to be awarded and typically serve at a higher headquarters level, like the Pentagon, where I retired from.
Okay. Now, we've got a medal here that is extremely special, and I'll be very honest, for me, this means a lot because it's given to what I affectionately call my big brothers, a group of gentlemen that I interviewed that served in Vietnam with a group called the 159th Dustoff. These guys were medical evacuation helicopter pilots and medics. Every single one of these guys served over 1,000 missions. Every single one of these men saved over 3,000 lives. And they did it with anyone, anywhere, anytime. Tell me a little bit about this medal and why it's so important.
One thing I think is significant about this Congressional Gold Medal, all of these that I wear are awarded by the executive branch, right? So a political appointee, an officer in the military with delegated authority from the Commander-in-Chief. The Congressional Gold Medal, just like its name implies, is awarded by Congress. It's the People's Medal. The representatives of the people award those to heroes of the American people. I think that's significant and certainly different than all of the awards and decorations that I wear.
Well, the other thing that's interesting that I've learned a little bit about this is that this is the oldest award in our country's history. The first recipient was this little general, since you're a general, this little general that you might have heard of called George Washington, okay? And like you said, this is the first medal that has ever been given to anyone that served in Vietnam, which I have to admit kind of shocks me a little bit. Do you know anything else about the significance and history of this?
There have been fewer than 200 Congressional Gold Medals awarded. And one of the things that's particularly significant is politics are involved, right? Our House of Representatives. It takes a 2/3 majority to approve and mandate award of this medal.
Wow.
So when you see the award of this medal, it's overcome the politics of identity, of portfolios, of territorialism and things like that, and truly recognizes people who are heroes to this nation, who have preserved and defended and the Constitution of this nation, supported everything we stand for, and that's affirmed, again, by the representatives of the people in Congress.
Now, I know you can't speak for these guys, but, speaking for the members of the military, why do you serve? Why do you and your colleagues in all the branches of the military, both men and women, why do they do what they do?
Because there are things worth serving, institutions worth serving, and this nation is worth serving, and this nation is its people. they're worth serving. I love this nation. I love the United States Air Force. I served in joint assignments for and with and over service members from every branch of our armed services, and I love them and appreciate them. And I love you. I love the citizens of this nation, and it's an honor to serve them. The things that we hold dear are worth preserving and defending, and some of us get that great honor to serve in uniform and defend this nation.
This story is going to be seen worldwide, and there are really, quite honestly, not a heck of a lot of the Dustoff members still alive. Of the 6 gentlemen that I interviewed, every single one of them has cancer from Agent Orange, and so they're on a time clock. Mm-hmm. So for any of the members of Dustoff out there watching this right here, right now, what would you like to say to them?
I would tell them thank you. The time I joined our United States Air Force in 1984 was the height of the Cold War. The Vietnam conflict was part of the Cold War. And those servicemen and women who came home from Vietnam and continued to serve were who raised and trained me in the service from the time I was an 18-year-old airman. They had a particular perspective from having served in that terrible conflict, and the way they were treated, in particular different than other homecomings. They didn't get one from the public. In general, they were reviled and forgotten. And not honored for their service, though they answered the call of our nation. And so every time I can identify a Vietnam veteran, I tell them thank you, and I tell them welcome home. So to our Dustoff brothers, thank you, and welcome home.
And let me add to that. And, everyone out there has heard me say this a lot, but, I'm going to say it a little differently. Everyone has a story. Stories have power. They help us understand each other. If stories are not passed down from generation to generation, they're lost. And those people are forgotten. I make this promise this very day to my friends, my colleagues, the people that served in Dustoff. You will not be forgotten. We'll be right back.